Are there influencers I can follow who are talking about this topic? Whenever I'm not sure how to get to the next step, even today, I create a possibilities list and fill up pages and pages with things like, oh yeah, Sarah's cousin works for that company that I've been dying to have as a client. There were many times when I didn't remember I had a connection until I sat down and made my list. This happens because we spend so much time sitting in what we don't have that we don't realize the access we actually do have. Warning, this is often the place where the dreamers start wandering off the side of the highway to gather wildflowers rather than making any real traction toward their destination. For example, if my first guidepost is clearly create a book proposal, there are all sorts of things I could brainstorm to get me there. Researching book proposals, creating a Pinterest board of ideas, finding out the structure of a book proposal for this genre, talking to authors in this space and asking them for advice, finding a graphic designer to help me lay it out, take an online course to learn about book proposals, going to a writer's conference, and so forth. Most people see this list and get excited, thinking, holy crap, look at all these ideas. Simultaneously, they convince themselves that all ideas are created equal and all of them will be effective. Don't get it twisted. Not all of these ideas will get me anywhere closer to my goal, but many of these ideas are way sexier and way more fun than the tasks that actually will get me there. Creating a Pinterest board. That's so fun. I think I'll do that. Ooh, and a writer's conference. I've always wanted to go to one of those. And brainstorming with my new friends from my writing club. That's perfect. We convince ourselves that all of these are great ideas and that we're spending dedicated time working toward our guidepost, when really we're just walking around in circles. If I'm being honest with myself, I know the exact step that comes right before creating a book proposal. I don't want to do it because it's the hardest, suckiest part of writing a book, but I know what it is. I've got to actually write the words. I want to encourage you here because if you're being realistic, then you must realize that a big part of the reason you haven't achieved the guidepost already is that your mile markers, while doable, take hard work. Mile markers are the achievable steps, and you can take one after another to get you to the destination. But they're always work. Always. As I sit writing this book, Girl, Wash Your Face has been out in the world for a handful of months. At this point, it's sold 722,000 copies and become a #1 New York Times bestseller, and I've received thousands and thousands of notes from women all over the world telling me how helpful it's been in their lives. What a gift. What an incredible blessing that's so big I couldn't even have dreamed of it. Do you think that success makes it any easier to write this book? No. Writing is always hard for me. It's always work, even though I've done it so many times before, even though I've been able to experience success with it, even though I believe so deeply in what I'm writing about. Even then, it's a slog to the finish line. The idea is not that a roadmap will magically make the journey easier. The idea is that a roadmap will make the journey effective. I believe deeply in what you're capable of. I think you can achieve anything you set your mind to, but you've got to set your mind to it. You've got to be relentless in your pursuit and flexible in your methods. So buck up and start creating the mile markers that will get you to each guidepost. If you're not sure what they are, then ask yourself better questions. For instance, if my question is, how can I sign with a literary agent? My answer at the time would have been, I have no idea, which gets me exactly nowhere. But if I change the question to, who might know how I can get a literary agent, or where could I research to find out the answer, or are there books or podcasts or YouTube videos about this? Then suddenly my answers are endless. Remember, if you're not getting effective answers, it's because you're not asking effective questions. Also, don't get freaked out about all the possibilities. This goal of yours is going to feel like something gigantic when you begin. Remember how to eat an elephant? One bite at a time. When you're first starting to work toward a goal, it's so easy to get overwhelmed. There are so many things to do and never enough hours to do them. If you're like me, you have 18 to-do lists going, and they've got everything on them. If it feels overwhelming, it's because you're trying to do too many things at one time. Slow down. Make a daily list. Make a weekly list. Make a monthly list. Now double-check them. Is everything on those lists essential to helping you get to the next guidepost? If not, revise and refocus. Now you've got your roadmap. The next step is almost as important as figuring out the rest of it. In between you and the goal that you've always wanted are 3 words. Maybe you write them down on a sticky note. Girl, maybe you should get it tattooed on your body. But it's this simple. Go all in. Go all in. Take massive action immediately. Not on Monday, not at the new year, not next month, but right now, today. Take massive action on the first mile marker on your roadmap. By the way, creating a roadmap in the first place is going to be a massive action for many of you. But please don't stop there. Stay in. For a lot of people, it's easy for them to go all in. They just don't stay there. Something will happen and life gets in the way and they fall off the wagon and think, oh, now it's all downhill. No. Sister, half the battle in between you and where you want to go is just your willingness to stand back up. Everybody falls down. Everybody slips up. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody gets off course. Plenty of people set out headed toward their goal. They've got their roadmap, they're following along, and then all of a sudden something happens. Maybe it's something simple like slipping off their diet. Maybe they miss 1 week of training and then it's 2. And suddenly a whole month is gone. Maybe it's been 6 months or 6 years since they sat down at their computers to write. Whatever has happened, whatever you did or didn't do, shame isn't the answer to overcoming it. It's done, it's in the past, and beating yourself up about it won't change anything. Not only is that true, but so is the fact that it's not a life sentence. Anything other than death is temporary. The problem is that you're letting a short-term choice become your long-term decision. You believe that what happened in the past is who you are. That's BS. Who you are is defined by the next decision you make, not the last one. So get planning, make your roadmap, and take the next step.